piacere, trollamo trombetta. It's a human thing. I'm kind of an expert.
What does it mean?
And he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him.
So Pixar dropped its newest animated feature on Disney Plus with Luca, a fairly different film that I've seen from them. It looked far removed from their original foray in animation, what with its more bouncier style. The trailers did make it feel like the typical shtick for Pixar movie trailers, where it's not really that cool looking or interesting, but ends up actually being a movie worth your while, and that's just the case here. I went into this with the expectation of getting a fun romp of a movie with good emotional moments, and that's exactly what I got. A boy named Luca goes on an adventure in an Italian Riviera in the town of Porto Rosso with his new best friend Alberto after running away from his parents who wanted to send him to this dark place called the Deep. They befriend a local girl named Giulia and try to compete in a race to win a Vespa that can take them around the world, and beat the local jerk named Ercole. But one thing that is unknown to the town is that the boys are sea creatures who the town has a deep hatred for. Now the boys have to constantly watch out for their secret being revealed to the whole town, as well as Luca's parents finding them while trying to train for a big race. The first thing that hit me with this Pixar movie was that it is definitely more character driven than usual. Don't get me wrong, just about all the Pixar movies are, but this goes for a simpler story while really playing up the characters and their desires. That obviously isn't a bad thing here since the characters are very endearing. The titular character Luca is a sweet kid, albeit a bit manicky. He's constantly afraid of something going wrong, be it getting caught by the humans or his own parents. His arc revolves around him coming into his own and finally standing up for himself, making his own decisions and whatnot. You get his attitude since he was gonna be sent away by his parents, which is pretty unfair to him. It's all about him gaining his freedom. It's a simple coming of age story that you can get on board with, especially since Luca is just such a nice goober of a kid. Alberto is basically the idealist of the two. He has the big ideas and tries to execute them however he can. It, of course, can backfire, resulting either in him or his friends getting hurt, but he does have his heart in the right place. He's pretty laid back on things and a bit in over his head a lot of the time. He has his own problems that I won't go further into, but it does put things into perspective about him. And it can be pretty effective and getting you a little emotionally, though you might see it coming. You get the genuine friendship between the two. They have a strong chemistry that works really well and can be put to the test to a certain point. It does have the familiar scene you would expect that tends to happen in friendship movies, but it's not done in an annoying fashion. You're not going to be thinking, oh great, there's this whole scene, but either way. Julia is a local friend they meet in town and she's just plain nice. She's someone who talks a big game but can't exactly live up to it. She's pretty energetic with an infectious attitude. Her and Luca form a good bond which can make Alberto jealous, even causing some friction between them. It's kinda typical, but doesn't thankfully hurt the film really. Luca's parents bring a sort of fun tone to things. They're basically trying to find their son, but they don't know what he looks like as a human, so they decide to go around dumping water on children. It's pretty funny how they do it, and it's kinda cruel, but you can't help but smile at it. Yes, children being miserable can be laughable. Don't at me. They add to Luca's growth since they're the reason Luca felt he needed to get out on his own. They aren't terrible parents, but you know they were wrong with what they were trying to do, and that plays into their arc. The characters are definitely the biggest hook to this whole adventure. The town of Porto Rosso is filled with a lot of locals, some of which just seem like nice workers like Julia's dad, and also the town jerk named Ercole. He's basically the braggadocious asshole that's full of himself. He thinks he's all that just because he won the town race on multiple occasions, but all he is a A certain thing I was expecting them to do with this movie was having them do a race allegory thing with the sea creatures angle. Like maybe there would have been a whole society that was afraid of the humans and likewise for the humans, and by the end they all learn to get along, but they avoid that and go for a more subtle approach that I think only Pixar would be able to pull off. The ending definitely feels like something Pixar would do. Without giving anything away, it feels very satisfying to what the movie is building on. It works really well. Now, the biggest thing for this movie was definitely its animation and design. It feels far removed from Pixar's other works, what with it being more cartoony and bouncy. The characters all have a roundness to them that gives a general softness. Backgrounds are absolutely gorgeous. They have a photorealistic quality to them that you would almost think it was real. It even works to make the town of Porto Rosso look quaint, even making the food look absolutely delicious. Like, you definitely will want a bowl of whatever they're serving. I'm honestly on board with Pixar taking a different route with their animation and trying new things than their normal repertoire. Now, in terms of problems, I will say the movie does have a moment that felt like it could have been removed that didn't really add anything. I guess it was for a small character moment that comes into play later, but it doesn't feel like it was necessary for what was showed. The movie can also feel like there's a bit of drag, like it could have used a little bit of shaving on the minutes. It's nothing movie breaking or nothing like that, but you might be thinking about it in the back of your mind. But I digress. This film in general is a simple and fun one that doesn't go beyond a deeper meaning. It gives you exactly what it promises, a nice lighthearted coming of age story. I'm all for Pixar taking things easier on themselves and just doing something that you can sit back and enjoy. Luca is one of those movies I recommend you dive into.